With the first ever Tuesday night broadcast of SmackDown taking place last week, the WWF, which was asked by Viacom to move the show for a week from Thursday to Tuesday for it not to go head-to-head with the Viacom-owned MTV Music Video Awards, saw the show, which was headlined by a major match with the first Austin vs. RVD match given away on TV, taking an expected hit with it not airing in its original time slot on short notice to drop to a 3.4 rating with 5.3 million viewers, with the reasoning behind Viacom's request for the one-week move attempting to boost the Thursday MTV broadcast revealed as the Video Awards show dropped almost 40% in the teens demographic going head-to-head against SmackDown, which dominated that demo in the past 2 years, with Raw following up on the SmackDown finish, which saw Angle distracting Austin for Van Dam to pin him in the main event, as Austin led the alliance out, responding to the loss by calling out Van Dam to the ring, teasing another confrontation between them with the crowd fully behind Van Dam, who continues to get more over by the week, before suddenly hugging him and putting over his confidence with him talking him into a match with Kurt Angle later tonight, encouraging other members of the alliance to show the same confidence to bring Test to the ring, calling out Rock to set up the top 2 matches for tonight with Van Dam vs. Angle and Test vs. Rock, in addition to the already promoted Taker vs. Booker match, opening Raw with a 4.1 rating. Raw's 16-minute opening segment continued with Austin questioning alliance members while encouraging them to step up, to end with Taz crossing the line saying that he never had a problem with confidence and that Unforgiven Kurt Angle might not only beat Austin but also take his title, setting up Austin laying out Taz with a stunner before ordering the rest of the group to take him out, picking up Raw to a 4.3 rating in the second quarter, which mostly featured Christian vs. Billy Gunn, going 4 minutes with Christian after turning on Edge last Monday to start a singles heel run, being given a new presentation with a new entrance song and video, ending up with him going over Gunn before giving him the one-man concerto in the build to the first Edge vs. Christian match at the Unforgiven pay-per-view. Rock was on a media tour during the week with appearances on several shows, including Conan and Howard Stern, promoting the upcoming Scorpion King movie, with the release date now officially set for April 2002, with Stern on Rock's first appearance on the show bringing up Rock's record contract for the movie, with Rock publicly confirming the record deal of over $5.5 million for an actor in his first lead role, as well as comparing the pay structure in the WWF specifically between Rock and Austin, with Rock noting that they have a good understanding as both rose to the top at around the same time during the WWF's recent boom period, with Rock and Austin also involved in the biggest match of the week on a house show on Saturday in one of the biggest non-televised events of the year, taking place at the WWF's debut show at the New American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas, headlined by the first Rock vs. Austin match since the day after WrestleMania 17, with the added historical significance of it being the promoted first ever WWF vs. WCW World Title Unification match, drawing over 16,000 people to one of the biggest non-televised gates of the year, with Austin vs. Rock also headlining a day later on Sunday for a house show in Austin, Texas, to make it Rock's first full weekend on the road outside of one match against Rhyno last month since February earlier in the year, as Raw closed out the first hour with Rock's promo responding to Test's challenge for a match earlier in the night, picking Stephanie as his partner in the handicap match for the main event, bumping Raw over 400,000 viewers to a first-hour high 4.8 rating. Raw crossed over the top of the hour with a six-man tag match of Jericho and the APA against Rhyno and the Dudleys, going 5 minutes to open the second hour with a 4.9 rating, and with talks with Hulk Hogan on potentially starting a new wrestling promotion backed by Fox and Universal Studios going on for the past few months. The closest thing for a rival to the WWF since buying WCW in March would come in October with a big tour and pay-per-view event in Australia, said to be booked by Vince Russo in his first major involvement in the business since going off WCW creative with concussion issues in October 2000, with him still under the Time Warner contract signed with WCW in October '99 for the next several months, who are also still covering Russo's legal expenses in the lawsuit filed by Hogan post the Bash at the Beach angle, as the tour, which is set to feature mostly WCW names who are either not part of the WWF invasion or under Time Warner contract, started its promotion during the week with Bret Hart, Road Dogg and Buff Bagwell flying to Australia to promote the event named World Wrestling All-Stars, with Bret in his first major appearance since a talked about confrontation with Bill Goldberg on Thunder last year set to host the event in late October, with another major name already confirmed for commentary on the tour being Jerry Lawler, who during the week also confirmed that he called the WWF about solving the issue with him interested in signing back with the company, reportedly having a long phone call with JR, who suggested him talking directly to Vince with his return now looks to be a matter of time after the commitment to the tour in November, as Raw, after loading up the final 45 minutes of the broadcast with all the promoted top 3 matches of the night set to go back-to-back, peaked in the first one between 10:15 to 10:30 p.m. with Undertaker vs. Booker going 3 minutes to eventually bring out perhaps WCW's top tag team in its final year in Kronik for the post-match beatdown on Taker and their Raw debut, taking him out in the build to the tag titles match against Taker and Kane at Unforgiven to peak the show with a 5 rating. The Austin and Van Dam show long angle continued, with Austin heated up again after watching the footage of Van Dam pinning him last Tuesday, hyping up Van Dam for the match against Angle coming next, telling him to beat Angle like he did at SummerSlam, with Van Dam responding with a shot back telling Austin that he's gonna do it, while unlike Austin also winning the match. As with Raw, who up until a few weeks ago had a strong viewing pattern with the show picking up viewers throughout the broadcast to indicate on growing interest, the last month saw the second hour declining almost on a weekly basis, with the company trying to counter the pattern by booking Rock, who peaked the show in the past 6 weeks in the main event slot, while overall loading up the second hour with big star power matches, as Kurt Angle and Van Dam in a match between Outside Rock, the two hottest baby faces in the company, making their entrances at 10:39 p.m. with them going over 2 quarters, doing a 4.8 rating for the first half of it, while the finish in the final quarter dropped to a 4.4 mainly due to the show going to 2 commercial breaks in a short span just before the main event, not being able to stop the recent pattern of the second hour slide, with the match seeing a clean finish in the Hardcore Rules, with Angle making Van Dam tap before the post-match angle of Steve Austin throwing both Angle and Van Dam off the stage. The Rock vs. Test and Stephanie main event kicked off a minute from 11 p.m. to go 8 minutes in the overrun, and after the commercial-heavy final quarter which brought the show down to a near 2-hour low, the Rock vs. Test match bumped Raw back over 600,000 viewers to rebound to a 4.7 rating, going 6 minutes with Rock fighting off Booker before pinning Test with the rock bottom for the finish, followed by Austin on the way out of the building, closing the show with an intense promo after being questioned on Angle's condition heading into Unforgiven, with Raw now facing stronger sports competition in the fall TV season, with tonight's show going against the first week of football season on Monday nights, in a strong sign maintained its entire audience from last week to draw another 4.6 rating.